Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of That Ain't My Daddy. Let me do this. Let me turn on some light. Let me just leave this light for now. I'll worry about the other light later. All right. How are you guys today? Today's topic, don't worry about retirement. I know that title is going to shock a lot of people, right? They're going to look at that and say, what do you mean don't worry about retirement? What money am I going to retire on when I get old? How am I going to live? Exactly. All the things that are in the future. Everybody worries about the future instead of right now. Now, not understanding that right now is the only time you should be thinking about the present moment. Okay? I know it seems weird, but it really is. All you have right now is the present moment. All right? Now, I am going to, first of all, I am a 100% debt-free motivational speaker, personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them see that they are in debt, helping people see the things they can't see. You know why? Because they live in debt matrix. Debt matrix is this box where everybody believes in credit and debt and all this stuff for credit, and you can't buy anything without credit, and you ain't nobody if you don't have a high credit score, and blockety blah blah blah, right? Totally forgetting about basic math. And then there's people like me and other people that live outside the debt matrix. I used to live there. Don't get me wrong. I used to live there. Thought I couldn't get a car without credit. Made 6 digits, all that. And I was a software engineer. Thought I was making it because I was in the 6 digits, right? That was the facade. All the cars, the clothes, the apartment, the fancy apartment I lived in, all the facade because I didn't own any of it. If the bank owned it, it wasn't mine. How come I didn't see that? I was in the debt matrix. All right, so what I do, let's see. You think about me as a sort of a financial advisor, but even more basic, because this finance thing, it's not as complicated as you might believe. All you need is 5th grade math. Remember the math money games we used to play in grade school, and then after we got out of grade school, they didn't teach it no more. You know why? Because that's all you need. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt, and then go savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have to buy anything in life. Period. Okay? Now, the title of this video, don't worry about retirement. And I know you're asking why. Here we go. We're going to go back to the same basic mathematical formula so you can understand why I'm saying this. Savings minus debt equals how much money you're putting into retirement. Now, if that number, don't worry about it. You're not alone. Okay, and I'll tell you how you're not alone. I know most people feel like, oh my God, I'm the only one that's messing up on money. Look at everybody. They're just going on vacation, buying new cars. They got clothes, watches. That's all a facade. If 85% of Americans are in debt, trillions in student loan debt, trillions in car loan debt, trillions in credit card debt. Somebody's pretending. And the majority of people are. They're easy to spot once you're outside the debt matrix. People like that put up facades, they're only fooling people in the debt matrix. I want you to clearly understand that. But anyway, back to the topic. Retirement. So if you do the savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life, and it's in the negative, you're not contributing anything to retirement. I know it looks like that, but math says that's not true. 5th grade math, all right? Now, if you were like me, confused, I'm looking at my notes, confused about Roth, how much to put in a Roth, what about a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, company match, when you put in, you're just confused. And if you were like me, you see all those retirement statements that come in the mail, they were just stacking up in the corner. I didn't look at them. I was just like, my company got me covered. They're doing everything that needs to be done, right? Hey, if this is you, and you're being quiet about it, Don't think you're the only one. All you gotta do is Google debt, Google credit card debt, Google student loan debt, Google all that stuff. You will clearly see none of this is hidden, and you will clearly see that you're not alone. All right. Don't be fooled by any of that. You don't even have to worry about any of it. Don't even worry about investing. Don't worry about how the stock market's doing. Don't worry about how your retirement money is earning interest in the company plan or whatever. Savings minus debt equals how much money you're contributing. If it's in the negative, you're not matching anything. You're not earning interest. You can't earn interest on negative dollars that don't exist. Only what you're really doing, I want you to stay with me mathematically. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to the words I'm about to tell you so you can see it, because it's real. Now, if you savings minus debt and you're in a negative and you're putting money into retirement or whatever retirement vehicle you think you're putting it into, you have to literally borrow the money to do that. So you're indirectly borrowing the money from the bank, and you're indirectly investing for the bank. The only people that are making money is the bank and your job. You think they're doing all that, the matching retirement, because they like you? This is business, baby. This is business. Don't get your feelings wrapped up in there. They're making money. And then when you go to borrow 401k, there's administrative fees and blah, blah, blah. You're borrowing the bank's money. You're borrowing the business's money. It's not your money, the government's money, whoever's money it is. Long as you understand that it's not yours. Because if you're in a negative, you're not matching anything. You're not earning interest on anything. It just looks like that. It's a facade. Money is not real for those who are in debt. Who says that? Not me. I'm not saying this. If you're getting upset about that, those are feelings. Math and money are one. The only thing that can separate math and money are feelings. When it comes to your money, understand this. Math is law. Math is the law. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it doesn't make financial sense either. CENTS. Got it? All right. Let me see. What else did I write here? Literally. Okay, so I pretty much covered it. Now. Let me help you look at it a different way. Okay. God, it's so understanding that. Let's for example, if you need to borrow from your 401k, this is slightly off the topic. Okay. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. So the money you think you're putting into retirement, follow me mathematically only. If you're borrowing from your 401k, you're borrowing it because it's not yours. I know they say it's yours, but mathematically it's not, because it doesn't exist. You have nothing to put in there. You just believe you have something to put in there. Now, when you borrow, there are administrative fees for you borrowing the money. So it costs you to borrow this money. Now, I know they entice you. They're saying, hey, pay yourself back with interest. And if you look at it mathematically, especially that pay yourself back with interest part, that makes no sense at all. Interest from where? From what? Right? You think that, right? So you borrowing it. Now, when you think you're putting the money in, it's going in there as far as before taxes, gross, right? And you pull it out. So like you pull out $5,000, but when it's time for you to pay it back, you only can pay it back with after-tax dollars, your money that has already been taxed once, your net income. So if you borrow $5,000, you really got to put more back because the taxes are taken out, right? So if you got paid $5,000 after taxes, your check is probably going to be $4,009 or $4,000, $4,100, $4,200, right? So you're like, oh crap, I got to come up with $800 more to pay that back, right? But it's even more, because they say pay yourself back with interest. And I'll tell you what that really means. What that means is it's a fee, mathematically speaking, it's a fee for borrowing your money early on top of all the administrative fees, after-tax money, and then they have you put more money back on top of the money that's already been taxed, right? So say like you You borrow the 5,000, and then it said pay yourself back with interest. Say like the total you put back is 5,500 with interest, right? Now, if you had not touched that money and you retired later and you pulled that 5,000, right? You get taxed on that 5,000. Okay, you just don't get to pull it out for free even when you retire, right? But since you paid yourself back with interest, so you paid back with money that has been taxed once, and then you put extra money, say like when you put it back, now it's 5,500 that's back in there, right? So when you go on the other end to retire, now instead of getting taxed on 5,000, you're getting taxed on 5,500. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand? So not only did you get taxed twice, you get taxed once because you only can pay back with after-tax money, your net income, okay? And it's pay yourself back with interest, which is really a fee for borrowing your money early. Now, instead of getting taxed on 5,000, they get to tax you on 5,500. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is real. You can't see this if you're in debt. You don't know this, that if you're borrowing from your 401k, you don't know that the reason why you're borrowing it because you're in debt. You're borrowing from your future to pay for your present. That doesn't make financial sense. CENTS. Do you understand? This is real. I teach the basics here. I don't even get into all that percentages. If you don't understand the stock market, seeing all the numbers scroll across the bottom, they make it look really, really complicated, right? Ooh, look at that, and this percentage and this and that. None of that's guaranteed. None of it's guaranteed. Ask any financial advisor. Say, hey, if I invest that money, is it guaranteed? No. Hell, add up all your debt and go see your financial advisor. And if it's a deep negative, have your financial advisor give you all this advice. The only advice they should be giving you is saying, hey, they see your negative number and say, hey, nah, you can't invest in anything but yourself. Okay? You're in the negative. Sorry, come back, pay that off, and then come back and see me. That's what they really should be saying. But hey, it's business. I'm not knocking any financial advisor that doesn't. I want you to understand that. It's business, nothing personal. But for you, because you need to treat your money as the business of you, you need to stop all retirement. You need to go to your job today. Understand that you're in a negative. Go to your job and say, job today, say stop all retirement contributions, because you're not putting in money. You're not putting anything in your retirement. You just think you are. If you do the math will ask math. Math will say, hey man, yeah, you're not doing anything. You're not matching anything. That money that you see on the computer screen when you check your retirement funds, or when they say, hey, you need to put X amount in here and you can have this much when you retire, that doesn't exist. If you're in a negative, all that fancy stuff doesn't exist. You don't have to worry about the stock market prices rising and falling, interest rate. You're not earning interest. You're not matching nothing. You can't match negative on top of negative. That's just more negative. Do you understand? I know, the reason why I'm laughing and smiling, because I once did that. I thought I was doing it, but I didn't really pay attention to it because I didn't understand it. You know why I didn't understand it? Because I didn't understand that I was in the negative. I was watching this video the other day. This one guy was telling me about, he was saying, hey, all these hidden fees inside the 401k. That's true. That's probably true. Whatever, But if you don't know that you don't have any money to put in there, don't even worry about all those fees and who to go with right now, because you don't have nothing to even worry about that. They're making fees off of you. This is business. You're just working to put the money in there, and then they're doing it. But if you just do the math, you'll clearly see that you're not. Stop all retirement. Don't worry about what anybody else says. And you can take this link this video to somebody else. Hey, that dude's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You can, and I want you to, before you ask that person, make sure you add up all your debt yourself. Input those numbers in your credit app, your calculator app on your phone. Know for a fact your negative number, okay? And then when you have this negative number in your pocket, ask somebody that you know, any financial advisor. I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter. All you need to know is the basics, okay? They'll say, hey, this guy, Linnell, he's crazy. That ain't my daddy. Who is he? Blah, blah, blah. And then after they're all done, I want you to say, but is his math right? Is your math right? But just if you want to say, is this math right? And then if they disagree and my math matches your math, my formula matches, the numbers come out right the way they're supposed to be with math, you got to ask yourself, how come that financial advisor doesn't know the basics? This is just the basics. This is the foundation. It has to be that way. You get it? That's how you choose. You come see me and you have the negative number in your hand, I'll create a plan on how to get rid of that negative number. I'm not going to say, oh man, invest in over here. And then you take the interest from that investment as the Apple stock quadruples and bloggity blah, right? And then you take that and pay off that. You go, hey, how does negative money grow? How does negative money earn interest? It doesn't. They taught us this in grade school. Remember the math money games? I keep going back to that. Remember the math and money games? They taught us in grade school. How come I didn't apply it to my freaking finances years ago? I have no idea. It's programming. Society will make you believe that it's okay to finance cars and cell phones and try to save for retirement, and then they make it fancy. Hey, you have to put 15% of this money in there. Hey, 15% of negative is still negative. I don't care if it's 20%, 30%. If you're in a negative, you're in a negative. Right now, stop all your retirement contributions. You take all that extra money and you put it on the debt. I'm not saying stop forever. I'm saying get out of debt and put real money into retirement, not imaginary money. If you're in a negative, that's imaginary. The only numbers you see, the only money you see is when you log into your bank account, your retirement account, and you see digital numbers on there and you think that's money. That's not money. Those are digital numbers on a computer screen. Do you understand? This is my passion. I teach you the base. If you get this base, the basics, and it's only 5th grade math. You can Google anything I'm saying. You can use your own calculator app. You don't have to know these fancy terms and numbers. All you need to know is 5th grade math. That's it. Nobody will ever be able to fool you. Anybody you ask about finances and they don't come up with the right numbers on math, you got to ask yourself, how come this person doesn't know the basics? Especially if you see a person with a big fancy house, nice car, Rolex watch, nice suit. And then you just throw this simple concept at them. Hey, I'm in a negative. How can I invest in all this stuff when I'm in a negative? If they keep going, if they keep trying to tell you something that you can still do it while being a negative, you got to stop and ask yourself, how come this person doesn't know the basics? You better not listen to that person. They are there simply to make money off of you. I get it's business. Don't be upset with them. You just better not use them because they're using you for your money. It's not, none of this is a secret, but it doesn't matter how much money a person makes. It doesn't matter if they don't know they can make $1 million, but if they're in $5 million in debt, it doesn't matter. They're in a negative. It doesn't matter. Does that make sense to you? All right, that's it. Not a long one. All right, you guys have a wonderful day. All right, have a good one.